We're jumping back into part 3 of opening your own brokerage. Today, we're going to focus on branding, marketing, and promotion.
Join us today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
You've reached the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
That's today on the WBNL podcast. As always, all the show notes for episode 241, you can find it at WBNLpodcast.com, or you can even go to WBNLcoaching.com and click on the podcast link.
There you go.
So Matt, switching things up today. This is Matt's podcast, everybody. He is the marketing genius here at WBNL Coaching. We've done this numerous times with brokers and clients and for ourselves, and he's going to share all his wise wisdom for what you need to do to create a brand kit and more. Yes. So what are we going to cover today, Matt?
It just feels very bizarre. We're doing these little sections in opposite order. I'm all like now out of sync.
I know. I like it. Keeps us on our toes a little bit.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Anyway, today we're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about marketing and talk about promotion a little bit. All high level, right? But we're going to give you some good resources where you can kind of get your juices flowing. Back on pros and cons, and then on that second episode where we talked about the top 10 things to kind of get you going. One of those tips was you have to get out there and get your brand and get your logos and your colors and all of that. And we did really a very high, very, very, very high level back on that. We're going to dig a little bit deeper here. So I'm sure that all of you have been exposed to branding before. You have obviously done marketing in your business too. So we're not going to get too deep in it, but we do want to get this.
It's kind of deep. It's kind of thorough. It's kind of a checklist type thing.
Kind of get to a place where you can it'll at least stimulate your little gray cells, if nothing else. So let's go ahead and jump on in here to marketing, branding, and promotion. The first thing we're going to talk about is branding. So really just, like I said, high level, why do you freaking want a brand in the first place? Well, obviously, you want to stand out in the crowd, right? There's a lot of competition around. You might be a small broker, but you still want to. You're still out there, battling the big boys as well. So, good branding is going to help you stand out. It's going to strengthen your credibility. So, you might be someone that's been known in your market area for a long time, right? So you have a lot of SOI and you have a lot of exposure that way. But you still want to get your brand out there, and building your own real estate, if you brand it right, is going to actually elevate you even more. You want a brand where it's going to build your customer loyalty. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute here. Obviously showcasing your value, right? And then obviously branding leads to respect and referral business, which is the whole key to the game, right? As you build your company. So let's talk about the branding basics, okay? First of all, what you need to do, and Jan and I have gone through this several times in our career, haven't we, Jan O'Brien?
Yes. Figuring
out your ethos, right? Like what makes you tick? What's your mission? That's always the word that we always kind of stay away from because, everyone so long has spent so much time figuring out their mission statement. And although you do need to figure out what your direction is, I mean, I don't know that you don't need to spend months doing this, which Lord knows we've done in the past.
I feel like we just keep it more simple. It's like literally what makes you unique, who's your perfect client, and build around that, right?
That's
Doesn't
exactly
be like this formula that's all corporate-y, right?
Exactly. Because you know what? Those kind of things often end up feeling corporate-y. And you know what? In today's world, that is not what people are looking for.
Totally. They want real, right? Authentic.
Exactly. So you do want to think of what your vision is and where you want to take the company and what kind of agents you want to attract, what kind of consumers you want to attract. So start thinking about what your vision actually is. And then what really is your unique value proposition? What are you going to bring to the table that is going to draw both consumers, but really as you're building your business, your client kind of is your agent. So, what are you going to offer that's going to bring agents into your company? So start noodling those things. And then let's talk about the clients for just a minute here. So who is your ideal client? And so many larger real estate companies, and this isn't always true, but a lot of times it really is, have a real battle between who their client really is. Is it the consumer? Right? Is it buyers and sellers? Is it the agent? Who is their client? And you need to focus on that, right? And I really do believe if you're a small brokerage and you're starting out, if you're a team leader and you're converting to a small, going to actually open your own brokerage, but it's still going to be more boutique. I really, and you might disagree with this, Jan. Let's chat about this a little bit. Your client really kind of is your agent, at least on the front end, I believe, because you need to do something that's going to attract these agents into your into your company.
I believe the same thing. If you focus on your agents, then the agents and you show the agent how to focus on their clients, then you are serving the client. But it's really, now that being said, if you're a team leader / small broker who's still producing, you are both.
That's right.
But the shift from agent, team leader to broker running your own company is you are focused on agents first.
Absolutely.
Agents first, and then you might have your own client consumer thing too. But I agree with you. I think it's got to be agent driven.
Yeah, and it might be a little bit of a mind shift for you, right? Because if you've been doing all your marketing that's been focusing on clients, right, as you've been building your own personal business, if that's where you are right now, you are going to have to make a little shift there, because you really need to start really thinking about the needs and what's really going to be able to attract the agents to your company, and not just any agent, obviously the right agent.
And if you do it to your point, if you bring the right agents in that fit your values, the kind of people you want to represent your firm, then they're attracting the clients that are the same. So
exactly. So it works out really well if you make sure that you're shifting and focusing on the right people's in the the right client for yourself as you're building your business in the beginning. So how are you different, right? So what actually sets you apart from the competition? Do you offer any special services? Do you have VIP services? Is it a concierge type of program? Do you have, and what do you do to really kind of set yourself apart? And not even really so much setting yourself apart. It's just like, how are you going to excel, right, in providing tools and systems for your agents, and the best client experience for your consumer as well. So what are your special services? Do you have educational offers, right? So are you going to be able to attract agents by having a mentor or training program? Interestingly enough, we do have a training program that we offer at WBNL Coaching called Real Estate Sales Builder, and we are soon to launch early summer 2023.
Delays, technology.
Our certification program, which is a turnkey system that actually will teach and develop your coaches and mentors to actually teach the Real Estate Sales Builder program. So it is a turnkey system, soups to nuts, not only the basic training, but also training your trainers to actually train the material too. So it really is turnkey. So, but you might have something that you're offering already, or you might have a niche that you're going to be bringing in. So do you have educational offers that you can actually put into your UVPs that differentiate you from the crowd out there? And what kind of community connections might you have, whether it be through charities or just, how involved are you actually with the local community? Because that not only is going to set you apart possibly from the competition, but it's also going to be probably one of the very first places you go when you start promoting yourself as well. And we're going to get to that down the line as well. So one thing you need to remember about branding, and this is really, really key, that it's just more than a look and feel. So many times people will think of branding as your logo and what colors you're going to choose. And you will spend countless hours working on that. Those are important, obviously, right? Think about all the big brands out there. Think of Starbucks, think of Coke, Pepsi, any of the big guys, right? Amazon, all that.
You immediately see their logo and their colors.
Exactly, right? You see all of that.
Tagline.
And, here's the thing that I always think about when I get to this whole color section of talking about branding. Yeah, the FedEx logo is orange and blue, right? And you recognize that when it goes whizzing by you on the road. You see the arrow, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You got all that stuff going on. I don't know if their colors would have originally been green and yellow. It probably would have been just as popular as it was at doing, the colors they are now. So, we look at some of these bigger companies that are so well branded and been around for such a long time, and they have a certain color scheme. And like I said, I'm not downplaying the color scheme, but I am telling you that if they would have chosen, it's more than your color, I guess is your point. Coke could have had the best color scheme in the world, but if Coke was not good and the consumer did not like it, who cares if it was red or if it was purple, right?
Exactly.
Agree with that, Jana Brian?
I do.
Yeah. So anyway, it's more than just a look and a feel. You know, you need to be able to once you decide what your vision is, you need to decide and try to define yourself. And when you are doing that whole thing, when you're doing your branding, think about how you actually, not how you want to be yourself. You have to actually be yourself. You have to be able to deliver what you're trying to message out there. Easier said than done, right? But don't think about the brand as just this independent thing out there. It's you.
Yeah,
it's
100%. Man.
Yeah, it's what you're bringing to the table.
Living, breathing, depiction of who you are.
That's right. So, in this social media selfie world, you want to come off as the most, you always come off when you're the most relatable and you are natural. So once again, be who you are. You know what I mean? Stay in your freaking lane, people. People often try to get bigger than they actually are. And you can't, it's hard to relate to that. You know what I mean? So the consumer is going to relate to you the best if you just are yourself. You act who you are. You don't try to be somebody else, and you brand yourself in that very way, right? So here's a way that I think that could help you better understand what your ethos is and what's really happening in your world, right? Consider doing like a day in the life of yourself, right? And film it in two ways. Film it kind of for yourself, so you kind of get an idea of what your world is all about, or what your agent's world is all about, right? And I think you might pick up some ideas if you do that, right? And not only is that useful in the kind of figuring the whole shebang out, but you can also use those videos actually as you're promoting your company as well. So it's kind of a two-pronged thing. And then ultimately, all the marketing and everything you do obviously is going to evolve around your brand. So these little pieces in the very beginning of branding are so critical, because if you go down a route and you get everything done, and then and you haven't really thought it through, you're going to get to a place at the end. It's like, that doesn't really feel like me. Or doesn't really. So that gets to this think it through. Don't just jump into it. Really take some time to think about it. Yes, think about your colors. Yes, obviously think about a logo that you feel happy with and can be proud about. When Jan and I were launching WBNL coaching, we went through the WBNL. Well, actually, it was interesting because WBNL coaching and Wandering But Not Lost kind of fused together, right? But as I was going through the whole Wandering But Not Lost logo process, and Jan was very involved with that too, we looked at countless things. We'll get into the bones of that in just a minute, but we looked through countless logos. When Jan and I and Rich were opening Home Connect America, oh my gosh, did we go through logos for opening that company? And I was really happy with what we actually ended up with. As a matter of fact, I'll put a couple screenshots of that logo in the show notes too, because it was a fun process for us to go through as well. But what you really need to think about when you're doing that thought process is your ethos, who your audience is, and how you're different. The three things we just talked about. So just really noodle that over, and you can't do it at your computer, quite frankly. This is a great time to get up and get out. Go for a walk, right? Go to the beach, go to the mountains, go wherever you go in your area to free your mind, open your head up, and then really, really start thinking about those things. And then once you do all that, you can package all your stuff up, right? You can do your logos and taglines, you can get your colors, your design concepts. And once again, we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a little bit. But there's probably, well, I was going to say 1,000. There probably are thousands of companies you can turn to get this done. So you don't have to worry about taking this on all yourself. When we did our logo originally for Home Connect America and for WBNL coaching and Wandering But Not Lost, we went to a company called 99 Designs. And what they do there, which is a little bit unique, not all companies do this, they farm it out to a bunch of independent marketing consultants, and they have a little contest amongst themselves. So you're kind of grading the contestant showcases that are coming in, and you end up picking your stuff. And then they work with you. Once you narrow it down, you work with one particular person to really hone in on, change this color, do this a little bit differently. And once again, it actually is a really fun process.
And it's affordable. They have packages that are basic. I mean, I think you can do it all for less than $500.
Yeah.
Where you could, they have a couple different levels at these companies where you can get this many people to design stuff. Then you pick somebody, but then you can have a package of a logo, business card design. You can go as elaborate as you want, down to, just give us the the artwork for the logo.
Or
right?
quite frankly, if you are an artist or you have someone on your team that is a marketing person, they might have the skills already and all the tools and equipment and, programs they need, or just go to Canva. We talk about Canva a lot here on the podcast, and literally there are thousands of pre-made logo designs.
Yeah, they are. Totally.
It's amazing actually. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things where you just have to decide what you want to, what's the best route for you that's going to make.
And if I could add one other thing, if you're into it like me, you can go look at all. In fact, actually, in some of our materials, I pretty much think I have added the whole what are the different colors mean for business and this and that, and what looks good online. And there are meanings behind colors, and there is a little bit of strategy that can go into that as opposed to just picking. Plus, there's also what's the competition in your area using these colors? Do you stand out? Do you want to look different? Do you want, these all can go into your ideas, but a good branding company or person that helps you with this is going to take you through a process, right, Matt? That's not just like pick some colors. Everything Matt just has said up to this point is part of what a good marketing or, a company that's going to help design stuff for you wants to know who you are so they can reflect it in their imagery or their colors or whatever, right?
Yep.
How does it parlay into what it looks like? Instead of saying, I want a house with a globe in it, it's like, you know what I mean, Matt? It's like, it's so easy just to pick something. But if you really go through this process Matt's walking us through, then a skilled person that is a graphic designer or whoever you're hiring should be going through a process of who are you and ask you all those questions so they can take that and try to feel who you are and design something that speaks to you.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. I've done a lot of research on branding over the years, and depending upon where you are in your business, where you are in your career and your path, and where you are in the market area you're in, there are a lot of companies that will actually, not completely mimic the number one company or but will kind of go that route as well regarding colors and stuff like that, because then you start to kind of, maybe it doesn't differentiate you totally from everybody else in the market, but you don't need to do that necessarily. Really think about real estate brands. Most real estate brands out there are within a pretty small color palette.
I would agree with that. There's the reds, there's the blues.
That's right.
There are some greens.
There's a few greens. Like I said, but there's like 4 or 5 colors that are primarily used. And it's really interesting. When Berkshire Hathaway came online, they were kind of that, I don't know what you want to call that, aubergine, purple, whatever color it is.
Yeah, no, I actually think they call it like a Cabernet wine kind of color.
I bet you that's what
it is. It's a Cabernet, but you're right. There are some uniquenesses there. There's the golds and blacks and anyway, but you're right. There can be like a bit of a. I think we discovered that maybe the colors that we chose for Home Connect is the blues schemes is very common.
Absolutely.
All right. Anyway, very cool.
Well, a lot of, like I said, here I said, don't spend a lot of time on it. And here we are spending the most time on that because
But it's kind of the fun creative part and it is a representation of you. You don't want to just go pick something out of a catalog, right?
That's exactly right. It is probably the most fun part of the process, but also it can really be a time suck. So I'm just warning you, you know what I mean? There's a point where it's like, okay, just
hire somebody to do, like, the idea of the contest is way cool because then you get a whole bunch of input and then you can go down a path of who you like, the designer that you like.
That's right. Absolutely. So let's talk about marketing for a little bit.
So now you're at the point you've got your logo, you've got your colors, you've got your design. Now you're ready to do the marketing. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, we're ready to do the marketing. And what we're going to do now is just go over all. Now this works if you're starting your own company from scratch, you're rebranding yourself as an agent, you're a team leader right now and you're converting that material into something else. We're not going to go into how you actually do it. It's more like all the things you need to do. And here's the thing because it's so easy to miss stuff, right? Because you don't really realize until you sit down and really putting a pen to paper, how many places you are branded in your business. So we're going to go through a list of these things. This certainly is not the entire list that's available, but it will absolutely get you thinking. Now, if you are OCD podcast listener and you're taking notes, you can stop now and put your pen down and, be relaxed, because a lot of the next few slides here and things that we're going to talk about are already in our brand checklist that you can download for free on our website. All you have to do is just go over to wbnlcoaching.com, go to our freebies, and in there you'll find this list. But we want to go over this list so you can hear it, because you need to hear this and start internalizing what's going on. So phase one of this we just call our online section. So here's just some of the places that you need to start thinking about when you are going in to either swap out a logo or to actually start building your brand, right? Obviously your website. Clearly you need to go in there and update that, or use your new stuff on there. If you're running a blog, usually it's tied to your website, but you need to think about that as well. MLS, if there's anything that you need to change on the MLS regarding your company name, all of that. I mean, this probably is not so much with colors and logo, although your logo, I'm sure, can go on there. Absolutely. But you need to check that out to make sure you don't miss that. Any CMA software, once again, change that stuff up with your new things. Any listing syndication sites, for example, Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, HomeLight, any of those places that you are on, you need to go in and check them out. Make sure that you have, your current branding on there. Any third-party software tools that you're using within your company, you're going to want to rebrand or brand for the first time if you're just starting up. Your Google My Business page. If you don't have one of those, you need to get one of those first of all.
Definitely for your new business.
Yeah, exactly. And make sure that that's branded appropriately. And the Google My Business page, obviously it's more than just, a logo. You can add a lot of photos and testimonials and all kinds of great stuff on there. And then if you are using a home search app, which you should be, and if you haven't, once again, this is going to give you an idea of things you need to get out there and start building. You'll want to take a look at that as well. Number two, social media. You may be all over social media. You may just be in, some, particular platforms, but make sure you get there. One thing that we always will recommend, and anybody within marketing would recommend, that whatever you choose as your branding on social media and online, make it consistent across all of your different platforms. So if you have headers and logos, now they're all a different, slightly different size, but make sure they all look the same. That way, and someone's following you around and they see your page, they're going to realize it's you, and they're going to understand it's your ethos, and they're going to know that it's Jan O'Brien. So you're going to want to make sure you update all that, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I mean, list kind of goes on and on. It just all
the main ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These are the big boys anyway. And then it's regarding staying connected, right? All the little things that you have out there that, like I said, we want to make sure that you remember are out there, your email signatures, any CRM campaigns that you've already have built, you're going to want to make sure that they're updated and revised. Or once again, if you're doing this for the first time, to have your information on them, business cards, note cards, letterhead, document folders, a lot of the actual printed material that we still use, because the whole world is not online yet, and those touchy-feely tactile things are very important to a lot of people, and actually really help to brand you, because they kind of stick around in front of your face a little bit longer. So and we're going to give you some resources on where you can get a lot of this stuff done, or talk about that anyway in just a minute. And then all of the real estate essentials, like your yard signs, open house signs, your buyer presentation, your listing presentation, any just listed, just sold flyers and card templates that you have hanging on out there, property flyers, door hangers, third-party marketing sources that you utilize that do products for you. Make sure that they have all of your new stuff. And this next one is really just some of the resources that are out there. We use Canva all the time. It's always at the top of my list, no matter what we do or when we're talking about marketing. We have used Canva now for 7 years, and we have probably, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of designs that we've done in Canva, and it's just a great resource. And they improve that program all the time. I mean, there's a video resource in there now where you can actually put video into the program and then tap a button and we'll take the background out. So it's almost like without having a green screen now, you can green screen. What? Amazing. And the price of Canva is so little. So
yeah,
Canva should just be on your list no matter what, because you're going to
It's the
use
number one tool you're going to use
no
if you
kidding.
just master it.
Some of the logo design companies like Fiverr, 99 Designs, like I mentioned a minute ago. Elevate My Brand is another company that I have never worked with, but I've heard really good things about. There's a lot of them out there. All you need to do is just I swear, Google logo design, and you'll get pages of different options for you out there. Take a look at what's going to work out best for your business and your budget, right? Like Jan said, most of these companies that are going to create a logo for you will have a variety of packages, from just building the logo to full on, getting everything done for you as far as social media and website and all of that design.
Yeah, there's a bunch of real estate specific marketing companies like Prospects Plus, and just Google real estate marketing tools or sites, and there's all-in-one things where you can get postcards. And the point we're making is there's third-party tools, but you need to have your kit, your brand kit, and your logo and stuff ready to go in and customize it so that you can leverage somebody else's materials to do your prospecting, your mailers, or whatever.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of links to these things and others actually over in the show notes on WBNLpodcast.com, episode 241. So go check those out. Once again, there's so many different options here. You just need to do a little bit of research and find out what's going to fit best for you personally, what's going to give you the feels, as well as what's going to work best into your budget, right? So let's talk a little bit about promotion. Okay, so you started your new company. Here you have your brokerage. And actually, you need to think about this kind of as, once again, most of this stuff is all happening concurrently, right? You're doing all of the things all kind of here at the same time. But you need to be thinking about how you're going to actually build anticipation for your company actually opening up, right? So, we talk about video all the time, and I really think that these, kind of behind the scenes look at you preparing your company. So let's say you have a physical office space, right? And get in there and take some video as your office transforms from what it was into what you actually are going to be making it, right? So those kind of things are something you can start teasing out to the community and online that is will build a little anticipation of your office opening. And that's just one example, but you want to start, getting the word out. If you already have a few agents, right, that are, in your office or working for you, if let's say you're a team leader converting, get them out there as your little brand ambassadors, talking to other agents about how there's a new company, in town that's starting up. And, obviously then you're going to be talking to your local association. There's PR you can do. There's several companies, and we'll put a couple of links to those in the show notes as well, that will actually send out press releases. A press release is kind of a cool thing to have. So you can send out something that looks very professional from a third-party organization, as opposed to just you, even though you are technically writing it yourself, to kind of give you a little bit more validity and credibility. We've done a lot of press releases over the years for launches of different things, and it just gives you just that extra thing. Now, does it bring you a lot of extra juice? I don't know. It could, depending upon where they end up. We haven't found it to be, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread. But it's something that really is typically pretty inexpensive and is just a nice thing to have. It makes, I don't know, for me, it
looks official, right?
It makes you feel like you've done something, right? Because you've read so many press releases in your life. It's like, oh, now this is about us.
Exactly.
Obviously, you're going to build your some anticipation on social media as well, and then good old direct mail. Until there's not a post office, there still is direct mail, and real estate agents are utilizing that less and less and less, so you can stand out a little bit.
Exactly, agree with that.
You know what I mean? So there's that as well, and there's a lot of other ways you can do this, but these are just some ideas that kind of get you started as far as starting to get the word out there. Now, let's talk about really getting the word out there. It's, you have done all of those 10 steps to get yourself going. You have your broker of record. You have all of your documents and your policies and procedures manual in place. You've done all the hard work. You've got your agents going. You have your location. If you have a location, not everyone's going to, but if you have a location, it might be a wise idea to do a grand opening. Once again, this is going to be whatever is going to feel the best for you. What things, what other companies might be doing in your area, right? Where your office is located, obviously, is going to be a big part of that as well. But they can be very fun. right? And they can be really great exposure for you if you do them right and think it through. So first of all, let's kind of go through some of the steps for doing a grand opening for your office. First of all, you're going to set a budget. This budget thing is probably already blown all to bits, right? Because there are things that you probably have missed along the way, or maybe you've gone a little overboard here and there. There's a lot of upfront money spent you're going to do when you're opening a real estate company. Wouldn't you agree, Jan?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. So, make sure you set a budget for your event. And as we go through this list here, it'll kind of help you think about what that budget probably should be. But it could be anything you want to. And you can go as big or small as you want to on this kind of thing. Or
Sure.
heck, if you don't want to have a big grand opening where you're inviting the world, maybe you can just have a small, little more intimate thing where, first of all, you could have it with your agents and their family, right? Because if you get the family hooked into your company, you got a little more retention.
Or you could even do approach some people take as a soft opening where you just you've opened the doors and you invite people like an open house, agents and the public. And then you could eventually also do a grand opening or you could just do a simple open house. Come see our office and have some, snacks.
Yeah, it could be all or none, depending upon where you are and what you want to do. But here's some ideas as far as some events, the details go. You could have live entertainment there. We've had that in a couple of our grand openings that we've done.
Very powerful.
Yeah, it can be. Local celebrity appearances. Now, what does that mean, right? Sure, it would be great to have, the big guns. But here's the thing. Like in Vegas, I would think that there would be someone in your sphere of influence that would know someone in sports, because it is the thriving thing now in Las Vegas, right? With the Raiders of the Knights and everything else that's coming in. And
that does celebrity appearances now adds into the budget, but it can make a difference, right?
Right. Or maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, depending upon, if what kind of a connection you have with them. But it's something to think about. You're probably going to do a tour of facilities when you're there. You'll have probably special desserts, treats, maybe some gifts. Maybe there's a raffle or a
raffle is a big one, especially if you have partners come in.
Exactly.
Do that throughout the event.
We'll talk about ribbon cutting just in a little bit later, but it's a fun, once again, it's just another fun way to do it that makes you feel like you're freaking official. And then partner with local businesses, right? If you were like if you have a location that is in an entertainment area or a strip center or something, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Let them promote themselves as well. Any restaurants that are in there, you don't have to go around asking for free stuff, although, certainly, a tit for tat when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Sure.
But restaurants, coffee houses, dry cleaners, gyms, the list kind of goes on and on. You're going to want to partner with these people anyway, because when you're opening a real estate office or when you're a freaking real estate agent, right, you are a member of the community, and the closer and the more tied in you are with that community, the bigger your little sphere of influence web in that community is going to grow. So don't forget that, probably the number one thing as you're starting to open your office up. Obviously, you're going to schedule your event. You're going to make sure your office is show ready. Right. So all those little last minute things that you need to get done in your office, which, by the way, that punch list will be probably long, you're going to want to make sure are completed before the grand opening. And then just promote, you where you talk about press releases, right, out to local media. If you can actually somehow, or if you have a connection to the local, television channels and all that, depending upon what your market area is. And once again, just try to make as many of those little outreaches as possible. You might get a lot of no's or I don't cares, but you might not at the same time. So it doesn't hurt to do that. The ribbon cutting ceremony is great if you actually involve the Chamber of Commerce in this. Most Chamber of Commerces in most cities will be more than happy to come out.
You must be a member.
Well, right. You do have to be a member. It's not just call them, hey, come on out. You have to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce, but it's a good idea.
Join the chamber.
Yeah, it's a good idea for you anyway. You want to do that because you are now a local business owner, right? We always talk about how you are a business owner when you're a realtor in the first place. Now, if you're opening up an actual office or a company,
next level,
you are a freaking member of the local business community, and you want to make sure that your voice is heard within that community as well. You can do paid online ads. There's traditional print ads you could do if you wanted to go down any of these routes. Obviously flyers and brochures. That can hook back into your local businesses around your office as well. Prize giveaways, or raffles or anything like that at your grand opening are going to be great if you actually even promote it ahead of time. Get involved with this. It's going to be good. If you aren't involved with a charity, you might consider getting involved with a local charity and do some fundraising for them as well. And then any speakers you might want to have come in. I mean, we've had I think there was didn't the mayor of Las Vegas come in and open one of the new offices? Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of different options you can have to actually bring some more, I guess, celebrity into your grand openings as well. So now we're down to the whole invitation thing. You're going to want to invite guests and agents. You're going to
invite agents for sure.
Yeah, you're going to do it in every way you possibly can, right? Through emails, personal text, all that kind of stuff. If you can actually send some handwritten notes out here, it would be huge, at least to your sphere. And you know what? Don't always just think about agents, and especially with the grand opening. Think of it as a bigger deal, right? Invite every freaking person you can think of that you might want to, and let them know that you're opening, right? This is like a real estate agent not telling people they're a real estate agent is already kind of doomed from the start, right? So this is the same type of thing. You're out there, you're prospecting. Right. This is the opening of something that you should be very proud of, and something that's going to be, build out the rest of your career. So invite them, invite. Just invite everyone you can think of. Plus, it's going to be.
Can I throw an idea that just popped in when you got your hit list of agents? Something you could do if you're doing this big grand opening is invite people. They're coming to a party of sorts. Maybe you have a person doing headshots for them.
Yeah.
Like people need, I need a headshot right now. I mean, if you're going to get all dressed up and go and, do something, then maybe you have somebody that can do that, and that's an expense that you're covering. Or maybe it's a local photographer that is trying to get some exposure, and you can work out some kind of a deal there. So it's little things like that. You got to have a reason for the people to show up, is where Matt's going with this, as opposed to just come by and see our office where everyone thinks that you're trying to recruit them. So have some fun with it, and then people will come. And if people know you, they'll come and want to celebrate you. And it's just all part of the idea.
That idea with the headshot is fantastic, right? That is a fantastic idea. So anyway, when you get to you've done all your planning, you've invited all your people, it's a day of your event, freaking just have fun, number one, right? Just have a good time, because that's also going to be you, right? And don't get too crazy. Don't have too much fun, but have a good time. And please, either you do it or have someone specifically.
You'll be busy. Hire someone to do this.
Take pictures. Yeah, actually, you do want to hire someone to do this, because you want pictures of you glad handing, around the thing. But you take pictures and videos and just have them out coming out your wazoo. You know what I mean? Don't take a few. You want to have as many of these videos and pictures as possible. I'm going to tell you something. You will use this media forever in your business, because it's going to show natural communication and relationships that you're going to be able to use forever. So do not forget that. That is really, really important. And I think it really is wise. If you just don't designate someone that's going to do it in your office, hire someone to take care of this for you, because it is vital to that. And then post-event, make sure you send thank you messages out to everyone. I'll go back to handwritten notes again. You're going to get bonus points from me and Jan anyway, or Jan and I, if you if you actually do handwritten notes, thanking people that came. So
brilliant.
Also, while you're doing that,
get their business cards. How you're going to
have somebody there that's going to be either collecting business cards or.
Well, that's how you're going to get it, because that's how you're going to get it, because you're going to do a raffle or whatever.
Yeah, right out. Yeah, that's true too. Right out.
Now you have a database of people to stay in touch with.
And then once you have all that information and all the pictures and all the video and stuff, don't just post it. We had an event last night and be done with it. Keep posting that stuff for a long ass time. Do it for a week. Do it for a month, right? Keep posting that stuff, because those are the kind of relationship type of and community things that you just resonate with. It's like, I want to be a part of that. That looked like fun. How come my company doesn't do anything like that?
Exactly.
Right. So you need to get in there and make sure that you really utilize the brilliant stuff that you just put together to build up to this for a long time after your actual event itself. And I think that pretty much takes us out of promotion. Obviously, there's so much else you're going to do when it comes to marketing and promoting your company. We've talked about that a lot in other podcasts. We'll leave some links. We're going to talk about it a little bit more next week when we talk about not next week, in 2 weeks when we talk about recruiting, which will be part 4 and kind of the end of our series here on opening your own brokerage. But we're going to really go through all the recruiting steps, and a lot of that's going to be promoting you within the community as well. Now, next week, we have Jenny Pock as our special interviewee in our Ask Vibe series. Jenny Pock has been on the show. She's a friend of the show, been on a couple times before. She just recently actually converted to a RE/MAX office. So timing on all this is very interesting, right? So she's not opening her own brokerage per se, but she certainly is converting to a
She
franchise.
has opened her own brokerage.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to talk to her about that process and go into her franchise and so on. So
Exactly. So good stuff coming up next week. And then, like I said, in 2 weeks from now, where's Jan? There she is. In 2 weeks from now, we will get back and finish up our series. So, Jen, anything to add? Because how I do. I talk too fast.
No, that was like awesome. That's like great for branding for anybody. But if you are definitely been listening because you're interested in this opening a brokerage series, and we just gave you all our best insights from doing it at company levels that we've been involved with big budgets to smaller and anything in between. So hope it got your juices flowing on creative ideas of things to do to market and promote your company. So great.
It's
stuff.
funny. I was thinking as I was going through that kind of grand opening thing, and that's why I kind of blew that out more than I was actually going to, because I started thinking about some of the grand openings that we've done. And I'll tell you, the company that Jen and I worked for, Realty One Group, back in the day,
they do the best. It's
getting to be almost 10 years ago, which is a very scary thing. They do some really killer grand openings, and they were just fun.
Can I tell you the one that stands out is it was Valentine's Day themed. It was the new Green Valley office, and it was very kind of black tie formal a little bit, not but it had that feel of it. But it was fall in love with your real estate company, and it was strawberries and champagne, and it was elegant. It was beautiful, and the whole place was decorated. There was I think violinist at that one. Or cellist or something. But anyway, it was just super. It can be whatever you want it to be. And again, it's budget driven, but it can also be intimate and fun and just sharing. You're sharing. People do want to share. Don't underestimate that all your competitors are not wanting to. They do want to come to see you. And you've been working in the business for a while. If you're new and you're opening a brokerage for the first time and you've been in the place for a while, people will celebrate you. They'll be like, congratulations, Matt, you great job. And we'll be working together. Not everybody's going to be a recruit, but you still need to work with other people in the community and the business and so forth. So it's just a really powerful thing to do.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, when we launched Home Connect America, we did it on St. Patrick's Day. So it was
we had and we had a lot of folks that knew us came to that, and our agents, friends and family came and celebrated our location. So there you go.
What else happened on St. Patrick's Day a year or so later? Bum, bum, bum. The shutdown because of COVID. So it's just like, oh boy.
St. Patrick's Day, a lot of memories there.
A lot of memories of old St. Patrick's Day. All right, everyone. Like I said, next week you can join us for our Ask Vibe with Jenny Pock. We'll have episode 243, which will be the part 4 of our opening your own brokerage series. And then don't forget that if you want all of the information from today's show, go over to WBNLpodcast.com, and we are episode 241. So until then, you want to talk about the Golden Knights just for a second, Jan O'Brien?
Go Knights, go. As we record this, we're hoping to get past the Dallas Stars and go to the Stanley Cup. We'll report later.
Yeah. To be continued.
To be continued.
All right, everyone. Get up, get out, live the life you dreamed, and be forever wandering